What is up, everyone? Welcome back. We are doing episode 2 of Power Word Fail podcast review. Um, we are sticking with podcast review because, in a sense, I'm reviewing a podcast, and just because you're reviewing something doesn't mean you're not talking about it, you know. So that's what we're sticking with, and we're gonna jump right into it. Power Word Fail episode 2 picks up right where it left off. The heroes have awakened from their trial test. They find themselves standing in front of this guy. His name's Griffin Stonehall. I learned that one. Griffin Stonehall is the one who drugged them in the bar. But they awaken in this building, a temple or some sort, and this other older elf comes up to him, kind of looks like a priest, and he says, "You have passed the first trial," basically figuring out the puzzle. The next trial, the trial of valor, will be proven, based off strength combat. You're going to go into a dreamlike state, like a vision almost, and you will have to fight something. He doesn't tell them what it is. He doesn't tell them what they really have to do. He basically tells them, if you die, you die. If you run away, that is a choice. He presents them with 6 potions. Potions, was it 6? Because they had 2 sets of potion, one to go to sleep and one to wake up. Immediately, everybody drinks it. Immediately. Spunk is drunk in like 3. Evangeline is drunk in 1. Ferric's drunk in like 5. Don't even know where they're getting these potions from, but they immediately drink them. Pickles didn't drink one though. She's smart, but she is waiting for her potions. But one thing that the old priest said was 500 people have attempted this trial, and 5 have come back, have lived. Now, 500 people have attempted this trial, and 5 have come back. What? And you want me? I'm just a young babe. What, you want me to go in there and try to fight or overcome whatever 495 people couldn't? Oh, no. So they hear this and they drink the potions. Everybody's knocked out except Pickles. She immediately pulls out art supplies and starts painting on everybody's face. You get a lot of the characters building between each other. They get a lot of banter back and forth. Ferric and Spunk, which they're from the homebrew, so they've played a lot before together. But Ferric and Spunk have a lot of good banter back and forth from each other. They were talking about like how Spunk eats, no, Ferric eats something and then he throws it back up, and Spunk saves it for later for a nice snack. But Ferric also wants to eat Poppet. Not saying that he will or he would, but he keeps commenting on how delicious Poppet looks. So, Evangeline, you better watch out because Poppet might be on the menu. They drink the potions. They go into this dreamlike state. They wake up in kind of like this court type thing, and they've been like, Carlos has been mentioning the Crystal Court, these heroes of the Crystal Court, and he's kind of been depicting what they look like, and like just kind of like subliminal messages that these heroes are still not still around, but like people know of them. Like everybody should know of the heroes of the Crystal Court. And it almost seems like this group is going to be the new heroes of the Crystal Court. But they might be the heroes of the Crystal Corpse. But whatever. So they get into this place, and it's nice. They got these stained painted glasses, and and all that. And in the middle, they see a giant throne, and wrapped around it is this dragon. On the dragon is a crown, of course, with gems in it. Immediately, the crew wants the team wants to get it, and they try whatever. But Evangeline sends Pop It up to get the crown. He is electrocuted, and he dies. Poof! No more Pop It. Pop It. Evangeline doesn't seem to care. My D&D knowledge is like, oh, that's a familiar. She could just probably resummon him back, but everybody else was like, your cat just died. They get the crown down. I guess there was just a one time trap thing. They get the crown down, and they kind of pass it around, looking at it. These gems are in it, and somewhere along the way, they start going back and forth. And Ferric sneaks and put the crown on his head when everybody's not paying attention. Nothing happens. Which, God, people like that stress me out. Like, come on, let's do some rolls first. Let's figure it out. Like, let's slow down here, guys. Let's slow down. Let's figure this out. But Ferric puts it on his head. Nothing happens. He doesn't burst into flames and die. They eventually pass the crown around, and everybody puts it on their head. Then eventually they start taking the crystals out of the crown one by one, passing them. They get to the red crystal, and this sets off a trap or awakens the dragon. The dragon wakes up with a roar. Pickles and Spunk immediately excited. Apparently, it's Pickles' dream to ride or fight a dragon. So now she gets to accomplish that. Spunk is like, well, now these heroes can prove themselves in battle. So I I enjoyed that. I really did enjoy that. Like, you're just like, yeah, get to fight a dragon. But it's a dragon. And you're level 1. How's this gonna go? But it wasn't too bad. Apparently the dragon was like not at full power, and must have been like a fragment of his power, a fragment. But they beat the dragon, but right before they fully beat him, he asks for a parlay. But let's back it up a little bit. This is our first combat. The first combat went really well. You notice like everybody has their own, like Spunk is a healer. He is like he summons like this weapon called Bob, and I guess it's Bob's weapon, or it's an old hero's weapon that he had or whatever. Ambrose has like this crossbow gun that he can load canisters and rounds into. Ferric does like this man. The image of Ferric coming at you is just insane, because Austin does a great job describing how Ferric moves and stuff. He's put a lot of thought into this. He drops down on all four and he starts running at you, and just to see this 7-foot owl bear running at you is just I couldn't even imagine. But luckily they're fighting a dragon, and dragon probably just looks at Ferric like, oh look, meal. Now, this was a new spell for me, because I'm usually not up to date on like new spells and everything. But the dragon got a critical hit on somebody, and immediately somebody said silvery barbs. Silvery barbs is a kind of like a disadvantage spell. It makes you roll again and take the lower number. So basically like disadvantage. And it's just a spell. How bad could it be? But yeah, so the dragon, they finally get close to beating the dragon. The dragon kind of gives up. It's like, hey, let's make a deal. And everybody stops and listens to the dragon, instead of doing what they were sent in there to do, which was defeat the dragon or run away. Never was an option to make a deal with the dragon. But they heard the dragon out. The dragon offered them a boon if they could find a way to get him out of his prison. Red flag number two. So Spunk was all about like, man, how long you been down here? I don't like slavery, so we should like help him out for free. And then Mirage was all like, no, 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 no. We're gonna get something out of this. So they kind of debate with the dragon, and the dragon's like, I can offer you power, knowledge, money, whatever you want. Spunk immediately turns all that down, says, that's not the hero's way. Well, you find out that the Crystal Court beat a very powerful dragon back in the day. And they ask him if he was that dragon, and he says no, he's somebody else. Apparently, he used to serve him in some kind of convoluted way. They end up trusting the dragon, and they settled on taking a treasure. The dragon tells them where the treasure is, exactly where the treasure is. Spoiler. Never mind, never mind. Because I don't remember them ever going to get that treasure, but they probably did. I mean, they probably did. They had to go get that treasure. Don't remember though. But they try to figure out how to set this dragon free. The dragon's like, well, weren't you guys sit in here with potions? Uh, they give the dragon a potion. He wakes up from his imprisonment, which also wakes everybody else up. On his way out, this dragon destroys everything, and the heroes kind of woke up late, so you don't know if the dragon purposely destroyed everything, or was he just under this building and him coming out of the building destroyed everything. So they done messed up. They done messed up. But thing that made it worse is when the dragon was flying away, he thanked all the heroes by name. Well, now like they're accessory to mass destruction. They have caused so much destruction in such a short period of time that, you know, what you, and you ask yourself, what else could they were sent in there for one job, and they didn't do that job. But you know, without that, we wouldn't have a story. So I very much enjoyed this episode, and I think this is where I decided, I was like, all right, I like this. I'm hooked on this. Spunk, he Tyrell is super funny. I don't know if he's this funny in real life. I've watched him stream a couple of times. He's just hilarious. His quirks and everything, stuff he does with Spunk is hilarious. He he does good comedic relief, but he's also super serious. So Evangeline, she's really settled into her character. You can she put on the crown at one point and she was just spinning around, and they had to be like, hey, Evangeline, pay attention. But Pickles wanting to fight this dragon, like excited to fight a red dragon, is just beyond mind-boggling to me. Ambrose, like, he is really coming into like a combat. He gives me much of a marine type vibe to me. It's just like he's got his crossbow gun, he loads some rounds, he's ready to go. Ferric, he he is very calculated risk type person. But like I said, I do love that banter back and forth with Spunk. Ferric is a very interesting character, and he has a lot of depth to him. I think I think Austin's really good at, like, of course everybody's really good at role play, but I think Austin's really good at it's hard to put into words, but becoming that character and doing what that character would do, which I everybody is, but Austin, I don't know. It's like I feel like Austin would be in a movie and I could be convinced that, like, this is a seasoned actor, not a professor. But Mirage, oh man, so I told you there's something sneaky about him. Just the way he describes how he uses his magic and the little notes that he gives, like he cast some spells and these bright, colorful spells went off, and it just didn't seem like regular magic. So there's something there. Then as he was talking to Spunk, he was like, you notice that he's covered in ashes. So it's like, what is that about? What's going on there? Like, what are you hiding? So that is how the second episode went. They went into this dream state. They found this dragon. They fought the dragon, and they set the dragon free. And the dragon destroyed things in the process, and they are to blame. So I am going to give this episode a nine hit dice out of 10, only because they hard headed. They went in there with the goal and they didn't do it. But no, the combat, I would say they didn't kill the dragon. They didn't kill the dragon. Not that, like, I'm upset that didn't they didn't like follow the instructions. I'm upset that, like, this is the first combat and you guys found a way around it. You still get experience for that? Do you still like when you don't kill the monster and you you parlay with it? I wonder if you still get experience. Did you guys level up for that? Do you level up if your players, DMs out there, your players found a way around, which I would reward my players with not the full experience points of killing that dragon, which they were on the brink of killing that dragon. I'm rambling now. But 9 hit dice out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. It hooked me in right here. Sometimes I feel like I'm a little biased because I really love this show, and I like a lot of things. I'm very but there are some episodes where I'm like, oh, ooh, this one's gonna be a 3. But so far, this, like, hey, I hope you guys are watching. And as always, this is my second time doing this. You're important, you matter, and you are loved. Thank you for guys for tuning in to my podcast review of Power Word Fail. I hope you have a good night. Bye.